deck beams, longitudinal supports, and of course, more filleting and fiberglassing. My name's Alan Mulholland, and this is the story of how I built the Wave Rover 650. 3 years ago, I refitted a 40-year-old Contessa 26 and took her on an amazing 7,800 nautical mile ocean voyage. We crossed the Atlantic twice, but a knockdown on the second crossing and COVID-19 put an end to my solo circumnavigation. So now, I'm building a new boat, smaller, lighter, but more suited for a solo circumnavigation. The Wave Rover 650. So in the last episode, you saw me put the longitudinals in, or phase one of the longitudinals. Now there's a lot more to do than just that. I have to reinforce the quarters, I have to fillet, I have to fiberglass, I have to put longitudinal supports for what will be the deck, and I have to put deck beams on the bulkheads. So a lot to do, time to crack on. What we're going to try to do here is we need to notch this stringer right here in order to get a longitudinal stringer embedded in that, and this will be an attachment point for the deck. So I'll have to notch that. I've already traced it out with a pencil. Now I bought this tool just for the boat build, and it's turning out to be a pretty good tool. I don't know what they're calling them, an oscillating tool perhaps. Anyway, I'll use this to get most of it done, and then we'll have to clean it up with a chisel. Now you'll want a sharp chisel for this. And if you're not sure what a sharp chisel means, I demonstrate how to sharpen a chisel a few episodes ago. I'll put a link in the top right hand corner. Okay, so there's our notch. Let's see, little test fit. Okay, so I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but that little gap is about a millimeter, maybe a 1/16 of an inch, and that'll be filled with epoxy.
Howdy, folks. I'm helping Mr. Rover. I'm going to do some filming. Time to crack on.
Okay, so step one is to just place this in position. And I have a mark down here. I'm good. I'm above the curve, so I'll be able to trim this back. Okay, and let's see, we're going to have a beam approximately here and here running like this, so we'll be able to put a screw here, and a screw there. And one in the center. Okay. Now I have some marks down here. Yep, and we're on them. So that's good. Now I don't actually have the correct screws for this, so I'm just going to put some temporary ones in. So these are number 8s. They're just construction grade, meant for exterior. They're only going to hold this while the glue sets up. Once the glue is set up, I should be able to get replacement stainless steel versions, which will actually be, these are number 8s and I'll go with number 10, so they'll be going into fresh wood. Okay, there we go. That is our test fit. We'll be good now to take these off. Let me just take my hearing protection off so I can hear myself. So these are good now. This is really just a test fit, and everything looks pretty good. It's nice and tight, and it's straight, and it lines up with the bulkhead on the other side. I've got plenty left over. I've got probably a 1/4 inch more wood than I need, and I'll still be able to fare this out with the camber once the glue is all set up. So I'm set. I can remove those screws and glue this up.
Oh, blow the man down, bullies, blow the man down. Give me way, blow the man down. Blow the man down, bullies, blow him away. Give me some time to blow the man down. We went over the bar on the 13th of May. Way, blow the man down. The Gallagher jumped and the gale came away. Give me some time to blow the man down. As I was a-walking down Paradise Street, way, blow the man down. A saucy young damsel I happened to meet. Give me some time to blow the man down. I says to her, Pallion, how do you do? To me, way, blow the man down. Says she, none the better for seeing of you. Give me some time to blow the man down. Oh, sailors is tinkers and tailors is meant to be way, blow the man down. And we're all of us coming to see you again. Oh, give me some time to blow
So over the years, I've done quite a few fillets, and it's always difficult to get them really nice and smooth. So what you can do is lay in your fillet, clean it up just like I showed you, and it's probably 15 minutes since this fillet went in, and now I'm just using a rag that's been soaked in methylated, denatured alcohol, and I'm just running it over. Now you have to be gentle because the fillet is very fresh, and so I tried to go above and below the fillet just to knock down any residue that was left over, and then I hit the fillet, and it just ends up looking absolutely marvelous when you do this. We'll come back tomorrow when this is hard and we'll take a look. It'll just need the very lightest of sanding just to act as a kiwi before we glass. So here we can see the finished fillets, and they're looking great, nice and smooth. So the next step is just to lightly sand them. I'd like to take a moment to honor the Wave Rover benefactors. So what is a benefactor? Well, these folks have made a contribution of $100 US or more to the project, and their names will be affixed to a bulkhead inside Wave Rover and will be traveling with me on our circumnavigation. Now, these donations truly are much appreciated. Well, Rovers, yesterday was the best of times and the worst of times. Mrs. Rover was here and we managed to get a lot of fiberglassing done, which was great. That was the best of times. And we managed to get it all done. We wetted out the surface first, and then Mrs. Rover, she impregnated the, well, I don't know if that's the right word, but the fiberglass tape, and then I placed it in and made sure that we had the right amount of resin in the weave, and that all went really well, with the exception that the GoPro gave up the ghost. It wouldn't take a charge, and I wasn't able to record any of the action, but I'm showing you some after action stuff right now with a different camera. Anyway, it was a great week. We got a lot done. We've got longitudinals in, we've got deck supports in, we've got a lot of fiberglassing done, and now we're on to next week, hopefully some new bulkheads. As always, Rovers, thanks for watching. Well, Mr. Speckles and I would like to take a moment to thank all the Wave Rover patrons whose pledges of support help power the Wave Rover project. Now, if you'd like to know more about Wave Rover's patron page and benefactors bulkhead, I have links to both those pages in the video description. Now, another way to help Wave Rover, and it doesn't cost you a dime, is by sharing our content on your social media. So now, as always, Rovers, thanks for watching. Give us one more. Brilliant.